for the power to start. You can start to see the smoke billowing out. And we've got the countdown.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, unité, décollage VS27, OneWeb.
Yes, and there we have it. Liftoff of OneWeb's Launch 13 from Kourou in French Guiana. Gosh, this is the moment that you tune in to watch a live rocket launch, isn't it? To see it go from that launch pad and hurtle, and look at it hurtling, into orbit. It's always this moment that I always think of, oh, the months of preparation and the number of people involved to get it to this point. And how really this launch does take us one step closer to OneWeb's mission to connect the unconnected. Now, this, of course, is the second time that the launch has taken place at this precise location. And to begin with, we could see the rocket going up from the tracking camera. But because it's quite cloudy conditions, we've now moved on to the mock-up of seeing exactly what it's doing. So the animation is going to take us through each stage of the launch. So we're going to receive confirmation, and as we do, we will talk you through what that confirmation means here in the studio. So the first event that we're looking and listening out for is the booster engine jettison, and that's going to happen after the rocket has burnt all their propellant. Once they've completed their burn, the boosters are no longer required. So we are jettisoned to remove weight. So that is going to be taking place in about 30 seconds. So it's going to get rid of that unnecessary weight, because to begin with, it's quite hard to get the rocket up.
Fonctionnement nominal des moteurs du premier et deuxième étage.
Done that launch. I'll pause there as he's saying some more. He's obviously doing his job very well, and you can see the animation there to the left as we wait for confirmation of the jettison. And there we go. Did you see that? That was the booster separation coming off. And I can confirm that that has happened successfully. So that is the cutoff of the first stage of the booster separation. So, as I said before, those boosters have now been discarded because there is no unnecessary weight. They've done their job. They don't need to be attached to the rocket anymore. Okay, so the next thing that we're listening out for is the fairing separation. Now, the fairing itself protects the 34 OneWeb satellites that are sitting at the top of the Soyuz launch vehicle. Now, at liftoff, there are huge acoustic vibrations and also friction, which occurs when the launch vehicle is flying through that really dense part of the Earth's atmosphere. So when the launch vehicle reaches an altitude of around 100 kilometers, there's actually very little atmosphere. So there's no need to keep that fairing on the launch vehicle to protect the satellites. So that is when the fairing is going to come off. And that should be happening, I've just got confirmation, in around 30 seconds. So let's just stay tuned for that. Again, we're going to hear confirmation from the DDO, who's going to say that that fairing separation has taken place. So we've got 10 seconds to fairing separation. And as you can see, we can see what altitude we're at and what distance we're at. And there we go, the animation has confirmed, I'm sure we'll get it in confirmation from the DDO himself very shortly, that the fairing separation has taken place. There we go. There we go. And that's the first time we get to have a glimpse of the satellites themselves. Remember, there's 34 of them that are going to be dropped off into low Earth orbit.
Fonctionnement nominal du moteur du deuxième étage.
Okay, we're now about to see the second stage separation. Okay, so let me just go through this again. We've already seen the boosters come off because they've done their job of getting the rocket off the ground and into the air around 70 kilometers up. And then we've just had confirmation of the fairing coming off, which was there to protect the satellites as it's going through that really dense part of the Earth's atmosphere. And now we are waiting, I think it's under 30 seconds, on the second stage separation, which is when the second engine is discarded as well, because it has completed this job. So we will wait for that confirmation. There we go. The animation has confirmed that the second separation has been completed. So the mission is going very well so far. Okay, with the launch underway, let's hear from Vincent Bordell once more for a summary of what we've seen so far.
The today's mission of the Soyuz starts with the 4 boosters phase for a duration of approximately 2 minutes. After their separation, the second stage of the launch vehicle, that is to say the core stage, took the reign during less than 3 minutes, and the fairing is then jettisoned. Few seconds before separation of the core stage, the third stage is ignited, and at that time the central core is separated. 9 minutes and 24 seconds after liftoff, the third stage is separated from the nose module. The nose module includes the frigate upper stage, the dispenser, and the 34 OneWeb satellites. The frigate upper stage mission starts with a first ignition of its main engine in order to reach the intermediate transfer orbit, followed by a long ballistic phase. A second ignition is performed for circularization and injection into the satellite separation orbit. The satellite release sequence will start with first the separation of the 2 satellites integrated on the top conical part of the dispenser, and then successive separations of the 32 satellites integrated on the cylindrical part of the dispenser from the top row to the bottom row, 4 satellites at once. As illustrated on the 3D animation, it means that 9 separation events are necessary for the complete release of the 34 OneWeb satellites. Between each separation event, the sequence is identical, so 19 minutes, which consist in a series of maneuvers. Firstly, tilting of the nose module, then a boost of the frigate attitude control system with a very small delta V during few seconds, in order to ensure enough distance between the satellites and avoid any collision. Then a new tilting of the nose module to the required orientation for the satellite separation. The separation is ordered by the frigate upper stage, and it is a smooth separation ensured by relaxation of specific springs. The end of this complex release sequence occurred a little bit more than 3 hours and 30 minutes after liftoff, with the 9th and last satellite separation.
Well, thanks again to Vincent there for providing the commentary on what has happened in the mission so far and what we've got to look forward to. So, coming back to our theme of responsible space, every OneWeb satellite is fitted with a grappling fixture. And this innovative feature enables OneWeb to operate its fleet with a sustainable approach. Let's take a look exactly how it all works. Okay, well, very shortly, we're going to get close to the third stage engine cutoff and separation from the nose module, the next stage of this important mission. Now, as Vincent just showed us, the mission does continue over the next 3 hours, with the 34 satellites being dropped off in a predetermined sequence in an orbit of 450 kilometres above the Earth. After this, oh, and I have just got confirmation, I'll stop there because the scheduled third stage separation has been confirmed. So that is really, really good news. That's the next stage of the mission completed, and everything seems to be going very smoothly.
Acquisition par la station télémesure de Bermude.
And that's the DDO confirming.
Et séparation de l'étage frégate.
Yes, okay. So you probably just heard him say the frigate main engine, and what that means is that the next part of the sequence in the first ignition is going to happen, and that is the frigate main engine. So the frigate is the smartest part of the launch vehicle, and it will release the 34 satellites in a series of 9 separations. So this is a really crucial part of the mission, and I can confirm that we've only got 10 seconds until that is going to take place. So I'll refer to the animation to see it happening. And that's it. So the scheduled first frigate ignition has taken place successfully. Which I'm very delighted about, because that means we're going to be leaving the Launch 13 mission for the time being. Now, of course, there's still many parts left of it, and you can follow the final stages of the rest of the mission across OneWeb social media channels. And of course, you can find out more about OneWeb's responsible space commitment, which of course has been the theme of Launch 13. If you head over to www.responsible.space, you can find out more information there, or join in the conversation on social just using the hashtag #ResponsibleSpace. I want to say a big thank you to Maurizio for telling us about OneWeb's responsible space ethos, to Vincent for his commentary on the mission videos, and to Stefan and Chris at the Jupiter Launch Control Centre. I also want to thank the entire team at OneWeb and Arianespace for allowing us to join them live for the launch, and also want to congratulate them on another successful mission. And it won't be long until we can do it all again, so do look out for details of Launch 14. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.